and welcome to The Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the demands and stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. We talk movies all the time.
All the time.
And as professional screenwriters ourselves and avid cinephiles, we'd like to believe we can meet any demand thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TCD Witt, and joining me, as always, is Jim Electoral College Burzelic. There we go. So, Jim, the votes are in for our finale. Ooh. And as the Electoral College, yes. I'm going to present all the votes to you, and then you tell me who won.
Yes.
Am I misunderstanding the Electoral College?
Yeah. Everyone votes, and then I look at that, and then
take it into consideration.
I take it into consideration, and then I vote how I feel.
So we did a thing.
Did we do a thing? We
did a thing. We were just going to do a little 10-minute thing.
Yeah. So we're building this backwards.
Yes.
So this we recorded something that was supposed to be much shorter, became much longer, and it is now the episode. Yeah. So this is the intro to that.
Yeah. So what we thought was just going to be like a 10-15 minute conversation has grown into what you have here now, which is the penultimate episode possibly of this season of The Studio Demands It, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless we decide to go a different direction and throw something else in.
What follows will be us starting as if we didn't start yet.
Yes. So
did I say that?
Are we ready to travel back in time?
Yes.
Okay. Stop it. That's all I needed. A little scratchy scratch on your Mikey mic. Here we are. This is super cash, so don't feel the pressure to perform. Are you getting your ass kicked in Star Realms over there?
No, now I'm actually looking for a funny comic that I once found online about Ben and Hurley after Lost.
What did you were just doing a drive time radio morning show of Ben and Hurley?
Yeah, it was because you were singing the sea shanty.
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do early in the morning?
It sounded like Hurley in the morning.
You're listening
to Hurley in the morning here at KLST.
The Lost Island. We have to go back to the 80s for this next round of hits. There you go. Well, Jim, it has decided the studios have spoken. The mass movie hypothetical movie going audience, but the hypothetical movie going audience,
the hypothetical Hollywood audience,
yes, has chosen our finale, and so
they have become the overlords.
So the overlords. The studio listened to the marketing department. They did like a marketing run. Right. Gotcha. They put it out there
we want to make the movie that most people want to go see.
Yes, and so
make that movie.
Make that one. That's what we're doing. So for those of you who may have not known this, I don't know. I'm not sure. This feels like bonus content. I don't think this is an episode. What we're doing right
Probably
here.
Not. It's going to be what? Maybe a half hour?
Yeah, it's just
if we really stretch it.
So we'll consider this bonus content. So I don't need to explain. Last year we did the Justice League. This year we're doing whatever this is going to be.
That you just did.
Well, that's. I don't need to do that though. I didn't need to.
It wasn't necessary.
I chose.
You wanted
to. So what we did is we put it out to the masses. Jim, you did it as simply as possible. Which do you choose? And then it's just the image of.
Well, a part of that was I wanted to avoid what happened when you shared it, which was a lot of people not only making their selection, but then like saying like they'd put in all sorts of caveats like, oh, this, but like with this twist and I realized that's what most of our podcast is about.
Sure. But
not this part.
Well, it's sort
this
of
was
like,
supposed to be, punch the card, tell me which one you want, not. Because if we were to put everyone's demand in there, like some people wanted a Star Wars that took place 1,000 years before any of these. Another wanted it to be 100 years after. How do we do all of those?
We don't because what they were doing in the comment section was no different than Heath Ledger was cast as Joker and people going, "They should have picked Bob Saget. This is a huge missed opportunity." Oh my God, this is gonna be the worst movie ever. That's what the comment section here is like. Star Wars 10, 30 years ahead? No, it should be 100, 500.
But you're doing an impression of our friends.
Oh shit. Sorry for those of you who went to the trouble to listen to this. I was just being silly.
Classic friendly kidding around impression.
No, I was.
You're fine.
My friends didn't do that. Yeah. So let's just.
My friends did. That was your friends. That wasn't my friends.
This was people I'm hardly acquainted with. So I posted in like I did last year.
You did tell me that like you took it to a bunch of strangers.
I did. Yeah. I put it out to. There's 2 nerd groups I'm in. One nerd group specifically is all about nice. Like everyone plays nice. People might be like, I think this is stupid. Nah, I'm just kidding. You're great. Got them right. A little bit of opinion, if you will, but the other group I go in are a bunch of assholes. I don't have them on my news feed for that very reason, because every time there's a post, it's just one dickhead after the other who thinks they're the funniest clown in the room, but it's really just mean. So I put in that group to see what they wanted to see.
All right.
But
it's always nice to know what the android's basement wants.
That's right. So what we did is we narrowed it down to our 5 choices, the 5 movies we would want to write. And then we put it out to the masses to see what they would pick. So if you voted, you know what this is. If you didn't vote, now you get to hear it. And you're like, I should have voted.
Yeah.
So Twitter, my 2 nerd groups, my public page, your Facebook page. We had The Amazing Spider-Man 3, Indiana Jones, The Wizarding World of Lily Potter, Harry's daughter, not his mom. Pirates of the we can talk about that. Pirates of the Caribbean and Star Wars Episode 10. And so, Jim, you did it simply. You said, which would you choose? And some comments here. Do you want to know the total numbers? Do you want to know the full pie chart, or do you want to hear all the comments first, and I'll tell you what the...
No, first, I want to know the total. How many people voted?
How many people voted? Hold on, now I got to do math. I'm making the vamp thing.
You can tell me the numbers. I'll add them up. I like doing that kind of thing.
No, I want to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I shall vamp, and it will be the best vamping that I have ever done.
You're doing great, Jim.
The word vamp actually does not relate to vampires.
Is it?
Did you know that?
No, well, no, I didn't think it did. I thought it was like a piano, like ding, 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 ding.
Well, yeah, but like it's right in the name, vampire. Why wouldn't you think that it has anything to do with them?
I don't know.
Oh,
I kind of wish it did have something to do with it.
Actually, so do I. I actually don't know that it doesn't. I tried. I wanted to try that thing where you just say something confidently.
Okay.
I don't know if that worked.
I can confidently say that there were 730 votes total.
Okay.
For the whole poll of which of these 5 movies do you want to see?
I mean, if you're saying it confidently, the way I said vamp doesn't relate to vampire, which was without any sort of proof, then I can't believe that. But if you were saying,
I think it had 130 votes.
Did your Dracula have a lisp?
Yes, he did. I am Spanish. I
am from Castile.
A vampire from Castile. Actually, he doesn't have a lisp. He's just always biting his tongue.
Oh. Ow.
Shit. Stupid fangs. So 730 votes total. There were more votes that were disqualified because a large portion of people decided to vote for things that weren't on the list. People did.
Yeah, no.
There's a bunch of write-ins.
Yeah.
So much so that in one group, one of the write-ins got second place and beat out 4 of the options that were available.
Oh, I remember you telling me about that, and like it was a weird one. What was it?
Well, okay. Let me see.
I initially, we don't need to entertain this, but you know what? Let's entertain it.
It was Mega City 1, Dread 2, Mega City.
Oh,
1.
That wasn't the one I thought. I thought it was the weird like fan fiction crossover one.
I deleted a couple because I kind of sort of got fed up because people weren't. I know it's just all fun and games, but it started being less fun.
Mega City 1, that would just be, it's just Dread 2,
just
right?
Dread 2, yeah.
Which is actually in development, if I remember. A TV show, at least was.
Called Mega City 1.
Yeah.
I think it was Netflix that was developing it.
Yeah.
It might still actually be happening.
I think the one thing they didn't have, which they were hoping to maybe get if it got enough, like, fan, enough internet support going, was to actually get Carl Urban.
Yeah, he would do it. Like, he was committed to that role.
Right? He did that Android TV show.
Almost Human, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he do a Dread TV show?
What someone pointed this out to me, and I thought was super fascinating, was doing like a petition to say, make Dread 2. right? Like doing a change.org or one of those online petitions where you can sign it. And that is one of the worst things you can do to try to get to show support for a film, because you're giving the studio a calculable number of tickets sold for them to go, should we make a Dread 2? And then the fans vote
30,000 people. And you know what? To you and the amount of people that can fit in your home, that's a lot.
But to a movie studio, what's 30,000 times $10?
300,000.
How much would that be in gross box office?
300,000.
So it's not it's whenever those things come out and people
how much would that cost? How much would that movie cost to make?
Like 100 million.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Even if it costs 3 million, even if they somehow got it down to 3 million, they still only made 1/10 of what they put into it.
So what I'm saying is, don't sign petitions to get movies made. Just hope that they get made. Because hoping. Yeah, petitions. When petitions, like it's too easy of a number. What you got to do instead is you got to get a whole lot of message boards and forums. Just get a hashtag going.
Yelling. That's all you need.
Get a billboard at Comic-Con with a hashtag going.
Actually, that is like it's not the same. Like you could actually take a Twitter hashtag and you can calculate it the same way, but those spread way faster than a change.org petition.
Yeah. You get just the right virus going. Memetics.
And that's how you get a Snyderverse.
You want a Snyderverse? This is how we get a Snyderverse. With 730 votes. Okay, so first up, your comment section. Beep, which is much more.
My comment section was so very manageable.
A vote for Star Wars, but 300 years in the past.
Yeah.
We had a Spider-Man from our dear friend Danny demanding
Spider-Man.
The voice of Lois Lane from Justice League. We had a Star Wars 10 is absolutely 100% inevitable. It's only a matter of time. So someone who just submitted to the fact that that's the one to make, right? Star Wars franchise line movie that is not at all about the Skywalker family dysfunctions. To be fair, we have Rey in ours briefly.
But it's like we continue off of that saga, but we don't.
It's not about that.
It's not a Kardashian spinoff. No. Right? It's,
oh, God.
I'll say, I'm saying it right here. The Skywalkers are the Kardashians of Star Wars.
Good Lord. Well, I've seen some of their faces. That does feel a lot of. Right? We had a vote for Amazing Spider-Man, which Spider-Man is the only answer. It was from our friend Schulze, another 6-5. And then we had a vote for Lily Potter from our friend Kate. So that was your polite friend section. My friend section was quite polite too. Like there wasn't a lot of vitriol over here. But we had a.
How dare you suggest Indiana Jones? I'm going to come to your house and punch you in the neck.
Oh, man. You leave my neck out of this. We had an Indiana Jones. We had another Indiana Jones. We had either Spider-Man or Star Wars. Indiana Jones?
Based off of, so I was looking at your comments early on, and I actually thought Indiana Jones was going to take it.
So did I,
for a while there.
Right from the top, it was Indy. Like people were popping off. Our friend Brandon jumped in, and he was like, I guess number 2. Most of it seems like a way to milk the franchise for more sequels. I'm sorry to say. And then he went on to comment about the controversial topic of J.K. Rowling.
Didn't care for anything happening in the Potterverse.
And I think that is absolutely fair. We tried to be clear in our construction of it. We addressed it and we moved on and we said, this is about the fiction. This is about the universe. We acknowledge that's a thing. We have our feelings about it. We're not going to make this a political, social commentary podcast. Let's tell the story. Fortunately, you can't explain that in a poll situation.
And not everyone's going to feel that way about things that most definitely are politically charged with things people feel very strongly about.
Yeah, I actually think the new Fantastic Beast that's going to come out is going to fail.
Probably.
Because if this is just a small 730 people is a very microscopic sampling of moviegoers. I'm going to tell you this. Lily Potter came in last place on our 730 votes with 24 votes.
Ooh, that's very few votes.
That is very few votes. Sorry, 25 votes. 3% of the vote for those 5 franchise films went to.
So I know
Wizarding World.
I actually said to you, I had a theory as to why that was.
Okay.
Outside of the controversy obviously makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think for people who don't care, it's sad to say that some people just don't care about other people, and that's just how things go. Mm-hmm. I had a theory as to why that might be. I don't think people are clamoring for a new Harry Potter movie because we came off of the 8 movies that came out, and then the ones that audiences wanted more, and somewhat understandably so. They took time to get to the next one, and when they did, that first Fantastic Beasts, I know some people think it was absolutely phenomenal, and I don't think they're wrong, but I think it was really still a shadow of what the rest of the Harry Potter franchise had been and had done. For it, I could go into why I feel that way. I actually do in the first Fantastic Beasts episode.
If you go back to season 1, yeah.
But then to follow that up and not have it right the ship, to just kind of keep going down this lackluster path.
Yeah, Crimes of Grindelwald is a objectively bad movie.
Yeah,
because it's just a messy screenplay. It's a poorly constructed film. It's a very well produced film because it looks great and it's acted fine.
But it commits the worst sin is boring.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
And I like Mads Mikkelsen, so just his presence I hope might turn it around. But that's generally not how those types of things work. Basically, this movie would have to surprise everyone, I think, to turn the franchise around.
Yeah.
I think they need to let it rest for a little while before they try again, either with a reboot or with anything new. And as long as Rowling is at the head of it, not that she wouldn't let it rest, but her growing digging in of her heels in her beliefs and stuff.
Her infamy is starting to really hurt.
Yeah.
It's very clearly hurting the franchise.
Yeah.
Because for as important as this franchise is, the Wizarding World, the Harry Potter franchise is very important to a generation of people who read those books and grew up. You can compare it to the Star Wars fan base in the love of this franchise. A difference there. I actually was reading, apparently younger kids now, like there's even a whole generation now that doesn't really understand the whole sorting thing, and they don't relate to the whole "what house are you" and things like that. You're like, what are you talking about?
So the problem there is you're correct. It's very important to a swath of people, but that swath of people doesn't keep growing with new generations the way Star Wars has been able to make itself relevant and friendly to more and more people, and so it's just gonna start fading away.
The Fantastic Beasts had a chance to do that, and not to toot our own horn, but one of the things we did when we pitched ours was keep kids involved, have a school involved, have 11, 12, 13-year-old kids involved, because then you, much like the prequels reinvigorated Star Wars for a new generation by having, little Anakin Skywalker. That's a lesson that could have been learned instead of Fantastic Beasts being just adults.
Yeah.
Like Jacob's the best character in those 2 movies because he's the muggle, he's wide-eyed and interested and curious about the world. And that's what makes those first 2 Chris Columbus Harry Potter so damn good, is because they have that innocent wonder to them. The whimsy, as I like to say.
Did you make that word?
I did, yeah. With a W-Y. Yeah. We had a vote for Pirates, which I spoke to one of our friends, Matt, who we've been making films with. He leaned more towards Indiana Jones and Pirates because he felt like it's not well-trodden ground, right? Compared to the other franchises of Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Spider-Man, which are a plethora. Star Wars and Indiana Jones have the fewest amount of things and therefore have the most amount of room to grow, was his feeling about it.
Indiana Jones, I mean, we have the 4 movies and then there's
TV series
and the TV series, and there's all of the Alan Quatermain adventures, and there's the Mummy movies,
yes,
and
you know that. You know that. But think of the world at large. Yeah. It's just
they think indie, and they don't think of the genre.
They don't even think of the TV show, or the video games, or the books, or the comics. They only think of the 4 movies. They barely even
think of the 4 movies. They think of 2 movies. Actually, they first think. Actually, I think it probably changes between person. Mm-hmm. I think depending on who you are, you either think Raiders of the Lost Ark or Last Crusade first. Then you think of the other one. Yeah. Then you think of Temple of Doom.
Crystal Skull.
Every few people, every once in a while, there's someone who thinks of Temple of Doom first. Mm-hmm. But it's always those 3, and then the 4th movie comes in 4th because of course it does.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a curious statement when he picked it, because I was like, oh, that makes a fair. He doesn't have a horse in this race because he doesn't particularly care for franchise films. He likes more artsy stuff. But this comes from a James.
Is it me? Did I say it?
It's a different James. It's one of the multiverse James.
Oh, gotcha.
He actually commented, I wanted to say Spider-Man, but I love Tom Holland, so I want more of him, not Andrew Garfield. Then I thought Indiana Jones, but I wondered if that might be too limiting, taking place between Last Crusade and Crystal Skull without the main character. And I love Short Round, but can he carry a film? I probably am in the minority that I have no interest in pirates or Harry Potter. So I'm left with 3. No interest in pirates or Star Wars. Sorry. So that leaves me with Lily Potter. I'm a huge Potter fan. I'm not a huge Potter fan, but I think there could be a lot of story to tell without limiting its scope with the past movies and books. Well, I mean, it's the daughter of Harry, so it's sort of limiting. But I think the real challenge of if we had to have done that is honoring Cursed Child, because some of the events in Cursed Child would be taking place simultaneously with our first Lily Potter book.
Well, and also an important thing to me in exploring that, because I as opposed to our friend Matt, I love franchises, and what I would want to do. A lot of franchises, they inevitably do this as they build their world. They kind of everything becomes known, and so there becomes less to explore because you've explored everything. And Harry Potter did a good job of creating a world where there was still a lot of stuff to explore and wonder and stuff. But at the same time, the way it constructed itself, once you finish the story up and Harry's in order and they've taken out the worst wizard ever, it does feel like, well, yeah, we could explore the corners of this world, but the meat is done.
Yeah, the biggest threat there could possibly be has been taken off the table, right? Well, and with ours, we chose Morgana. We tried to go like ancient evil, like Grindelwald is World War II evil. Voldemort is contemporary evil. We were like, we're going thousands of years in the past and digging up an old bones.
And in so doing, the idea of what is old is new again. The whole idea to me would be to then take that and sort of refresh it and say, no, this is still vital and meaningful to a modern audience, and to sort of explore old things in a new way and sort of refresh that wonder and exploration. Like, oh, if things this old and what we thought were long gone are still relevant, what else is out in the world?
Sure. You, not to suddenly do a Lily Potter episode, but you land the wizarding world of Britain by bringing up Arthurian legend, Chinese, ancient Chinese culture, Japanese, Egyptian, right?
Sure.
Like there's Aboriginal wizardry and whatnot.
All of those things they're like nothing in Rowling's stuff has ever pointed at any of that. I didn't read any of the extended Pottermore stuff, which there's apparently a lot.
There is, yes.
I believe some of that might point to some of that stuff, but none of the sort of core stuff points to any of those things.
Pretty seated in European lore.
But in no way does it invalidate it.
Sure. Like having a Chinese Ridgeback or a Hungarian horn, like they had the 4 dragons. One of them was a Chinese fireball. So suggesting that, well, dragons from China are different than European dragons. It had the 3 fingers on it, the 3 toes. Brandon pointed out that I don't want to be too topical. I mean, I do, but I'm not so sure other fans do. But how do you recover as a society from an attack on that same society by internal authoritarian forces that powerful institutes, government, and the media in particular refuse to talk about? I take his point because it's almost topical to the current events of the world and whatnot. Rita Skeeter is fake news, right? She's the media machine.
She wasn't. So fake news is different than yellow journalism.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yellow journalism is sensationalized,
and she was sensational. Yeah, she wasn't.
She was tabloid news, which I guess actually is like she did the whole taking pictures of people and saying, "Oh, or so and so on the outs looks like so and so and so and so are hooking up on the slide." Right? She was the TMZ of the wizarding world.
Ew, a little beetle. Another vote for Star Wars, but go way longer after the sequels. That's just the taste that has left in people's mouths for Star Wars.
It's weird to me because, well, no, I guess it's not because I have a numb reaction to the sequels to 7, 8, and 9.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll go off of this. Kay here said Star Wars Episode 10 only if Rian Johnson writes and directs, or someone also willing to put the story first and fan expectations second, an attempt to progress the franchise from being endlessly about the same handful of characters old people remember from their youths.
I read that and I was like, wow, that is a hot take that I feel is going to upset a lot of people.
But he makes a fair point.
Yeah.
We're not the right guys to do it because like you can direct and we're going to put Chewbacca in this thing in the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Like we did dig up some of the old bones and like, you got to keep Millennium Falcon's been in nearly all these.
To that end, that's exactly what The Mandalorian did. The Mandalorian did all of it. It found new characters to follow. It did not follow the same characters from the last 40 years. Yeah. Yet it did nod and acknowledge and cameo a lot of that stuff. So I think The Mandalorian did an amazing job of threading that needle, of walking that line. And I think that's actually, anytime you continue a franchise, especially one that's this old, you kind of need to do that. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Because just look at Solo and Rogue One alone. Solo tried to be just all the familiar. Wasn't the right way to go.
No.
Rogue One did much more of the unfamiliar with lacing in, Death Star, Darth Vader, Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, that sort of stuff. And I think of those two, you're going to find many more people who sign up for Rogue One than they do for Solo. So it is a very fine balancing act. Mandalorian is doing it better than Boba Fett, even in my opinion.
And also, I think what a lot of people are forgetting is that 7, 8, and 9 did a good job of. Well, and not necessarily. Actually, I take that. They didn't do a good job. They did the job of saying goodbye to a lot of the characters.
Yeah, I actually have an idea. I wonder if without, showing 7 to someone who'd grown up with Star Wars.
Yeah,
you're gonna get some mad people. I always think of the guy next to me who literally stood up and screamed no and Han, and like his girlfriend's like, Jason, sit down. It's like, no, 30 years of my life. He stormed out of the theater, ruined the moment. But I remember it was a great moment. I wonder, don't show someone 7. Just show them 8. Don't tell them anything about what happened between 6. Like, so they watch 6.
Then, like, you're still going to get a bunch of upset people.
Right, I understand. But there's no expectation in what 7 set up because frickin' J.J. Abrams does mystery box bullshit and then doesn't have the answer to just say, like, you know what, let's skip 7 for now. I'm just going to start you on 8 and see where your head's at. And it'll be a lot of like, wait, I don't understand. The crawl told me, okay, I guess we found Luke and what is happening? I wonder if that would be less of a punch to the face to a lot of people than it was coming off of 7.
And I understand your curiosity.
I'm curious. Well, even more though.
I don't think so. Knowing
even more, I think 9 would do that even better because 9 is such a goddamn mess. But if you never saw 7 and 8, 9 might be okay, like a little better.
9.
I hate 9.
I don't know. I don't know if you can watch any of them without the previous one.
I think I think
the more like any ongoing story, the more you remove, the more confused people are gonna like. If anything, that's what you're doing is you're replacing people's outrage
with confusion.
With just confusion.
Well, also
because how's it start? Like, wait, so that's supposed to be Han and Leia's kid who was evil, but now he feels bad. Good.
He's sad.
In this starting there. And so
it starts with 9. 9 starts with Palpatine's back. right? That's the
Fair.
opening.
Okay, yeah.
So at 9, you see him like, yeah, nah, no, and he's down the tube, and
Yeah.
like, yum, yum,
Uh-huh.
and then
And then it goes to Ray in the woods,
Palpatine's
right?
back.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be
It would be an experiment I would love to try on someone.
it would be like, what was Highlander 3? Wasn't Highlander 3 the movie Highlander 3? Wasn't that the one in the late 90s where they got everyone from the old movies and the TV shows and everything?
I think it was Highlander Endgame.
It would be like saying you've never seen Highlander. We're going to skip Highlander. We're going to skip Highlander 2. We're just going to go straight to Highlander Endgame.
Enjoy.
What do you think? Like,
is that the guy from The Mummy?
What's happening?
All right, fair. This is also from Kay, so he put his vote in for Amazing Spider-Man 3. I like that they were taking risks, even if they weren't the best risks to take, but that they were allowed to. I'd like to see the designs of the future Flick and other villains, that utilitarian feeling of Rhino, that it had a use and was repurposed for this attack and could later be developed with intent by the antagonist. Imagine Smythe. It's funny that he picked Smythe. I don't know if he actually listened to the show, but he picked Smythe, Doppelganger, or Beetle with that sort of style. Genetics with unnatural deformation could create an interesting blank face for Chameleon, etc. So he makes a good point about Andrew Garfield's villains. Because in No Way Home, he talks about like, oh, my villains are lame. I just fought a guy in a robot in a rhino costume, right?
So, like, I see what he's saying. Like, oh, what was that machine originally made for?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, if you watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, you know what they're made for. They're made for crime.
Yeah,
like they're made to just be
crime machine
robot versions of the. They're literally like they went to a concept artist who had never read any of the comics, and they said,
make a rhino thing.
make like a cool stylized modern version of these characters. And he's like,
a mech.
Yeah,
right? I like Rhino in the gray jumpsuit. Like,
so do I. I want to say I don't know if that would work in a movie, but that I feel is the old way of thinking. I think we've had enough franchises in the last 10 years show us you can do a lot of things that originally appear lame and actually do them pretty cool.
Polka Dot Man.
Somehow.
Just seeing like John Cena in the Rhino, like the traditional Rhino costume, where you just see his face and it's a big gray rubber suit with the horns, and he's just like, "You making fun of me?" Rah, boom. Another vote.
Rhino could be a lot of. At the same time, it's hard to make that Rhino good. They chose the one person who could possibly do it. I love Paul Giamatti, and I will let him chew as much of a scene as he wants.
Yeah, come over here, Spider-Man.
I just don't know if Rhino was the right one.
Yeah, I don't.
And now we can't put him in a different place because he's established.
Rhino 2.
Rhino 2. Wait. And commercial break.
Jake, have you ever been looking for a definitive Nintendo ranking and can't seem to find it because it's just everybody's own opinion?
Honestly, all the time, Sam.
Well, I'm looking for someone to give us the answers.
Wait, you mean like a podcast made by two young, handsome men where they create a definitive top 5 list of all things Nintendo?
Should we just do it ourselves?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Let's give it a shot. I'm Sam.
And I'm Jake.
And at Top 5 Nintendo, I'm going to give you my top 5 list.
And I'm going to give you my top 5 list.
And then we're going to duke it out and see what the real top 5 is.
Welcome to our new podcast. Welcome to our new podcast.
This isn't working.
Agreed. I think we're going to have to do it turn by turn.
Well, now that you mention it, we are a brand new RPG video game podcast.
Our very existence hinges on turn-based gaming.
So join us on the Turn by Turn podcast, where we'll be talking about
Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Golden Sun, Shining Force, Mother, and so many more.
It's your turn to come and join us.
Wait. We're back from a commercial break. What were we just talking about? We got from Brad here. I like the idea of Star Wars, but maybe hundreds or thousands of years removed. Just remembering how KOTOR told, Knights of the Republic told an amazing story set many generations before the Skywalker saga. We are in agreement. We're done with the Skywalker saga and Palpatine.
Yeah.
No one's gonna argue it.
Like everyone keeps suggesting the old Republic, the thousands of years ago,
Right?
And I understand and get and like the idea of moving it so far away that we can do Star Wars without Skywalkers. That's really the whole purpose of that. But it really always rubs me the wrong way when I think about so 1,000 years ago. Even though it's all sci-fi, all the technology is still the same, the fashion is the same, the sides are the same. Like it's all you did was remove the Skywalkers. Yeah, because they couldn't have been alive. That's literally the only change.
Yeah, my argument against Star Wars versus Star Trek for years.
It rubs me the wrong way, the same way the Fallout franchise rubs me the wrong way. That one. It's 300 years after the apocalypse, and it all looks like the bombs just fell.
Yeah. It's still retro.
It just bothers me so much.
That's the look. For years, toddler goblins running around upstairs. For years, I always argued Star Trek's advantage. The advantage that Star Trek had was that they advanced the technology. There's a 100-year difference between TOS and Next Generation, and they acknowledged that the society has changed in a century. Star Wars doesn't.
Yeah,
you go 10,000 years in any direction, it's still Jedi and rogues in Millennium Falcon,
the same blasters, the same lightsabers.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love all that stuff, but time needs
the military armor all looks vaguely stormtrooper-esque.
Yeah. So stop trying to set it 10,000 years in the past and doing it. Fine, just make it 50 years in the past.
That's actually that's one of the reasons I liked Rogue One so much. Because they kept the other stuff. They kept like the Skywalker stuff just cameos. They were just cameos, and otherwise it was just now, and we don't need all of that stuff to tell an awesome Star Wars story.
Yeah. Another this is from Melina. Never thought about it, but now I really want to see Indiana Jones with Short Round in the lead, and of course Star Wars. Got Spider-Man, Indiana Jones. Episode 10, directed by Jon Favreau. Yes, that is correct. No, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Bryce Dallas Howard. There's some amazing people working in Star Wars right now.
I know she was working on them. Which episodes did she do?
She did episode 5 of Boba Fett, which was...
I thought that was Filoni.
No, Filoni did episode 6 with Luke and Ahsoka and Cad Bane. Like that was Filoni, but...
we should probably do an episode on Book of Boba. Just talking about it. I'm not saying redoing it or sequel.
Oh no, we did. We talked.
Did we?
No, like not officially. It was in one of the bonus episodes we did.
That's what we did do.
We talked about Boba Fett. I'll talk about Boba Fett again. I'll talk Star Wars all day. Number 2. Sorry,
we should make a podcast where we only talk about Star Wars called "I'll Talk Star Wars all day."
I like that Star Wars advanced so far now that I don't just have an argument about the merits of the prequels. Because it used to be Star Wars came up and all you would just default to George Lucas screwed up episode 1, pod racing. Blah. Let's see.
Pod racing was the only good part of it.
Indiana Jones is from Lil-Wayne. Indiana Jones, definitely, especially if Short Round is coming back. Amazing Spider-Man 3 is the only one on this list I'm even remotely interested in. One for Lily Potter. I have to say Indiana Jones would be great, as well as Star Wars, but especially because Short Round's my favorite. Star Wars, 300 years in the past and show the birth of the Republic. Like people are just set on getting away from the a lot of conversation here from Evan about he gave thoughts on every single one of them. Intriguing to use Short Round, but a movie around a supporting character is tough to do. Replication of the greatness that was the original group is hard to nail. Think of the cinematic marvel of Van Wilder. I made a face. The sequel, Rise of Taj, although entertaining, had an entirely different feel to it. Yes,
I mean, you're right. We can do another one in the same vein, American Pie.
Oh yeah, like 100%.
Right. It follows Jason Biggs for like 3-4 movies, and then it's like, well, we can't get him back.
Here's Stifler's cousin.
Yeah.
No Johnny Depp. Always up for more Star Wars, but there had to be some clever tie-in to the original storyline without a third repeat of New Hope. I don't think we repeated New Hope. No, like we didn't have.
No. I think what they're saying is we had A New Hope, and then
Force
episode
Awakens,
7 was A New Hope. So they just don't want episode 10 to be A New Hope.
I gotcha. Yeah, it won't be, guys, when we write it.
So initially, I wanted to just kind of I realized bring up Van Wilder is a weird argument, but not thinking about it. He's right. He's right. There really isn't a precedent for it. And it does almost feel like a trick if you say, come see Indiana Jones, and it's a different character.
Well, no, in our Indiana Jones, we do have Indiana Jones in it. We just don't have Harrison Ford playing him. And we hand off, they are a partnership in the first movie. And then over the course of the 3 we came up with, the protagonist shifted to be Short Round. So by the 3rd movie, the fedora is handed off figuratively.
Sure.
So we still had Indiana Jones in it. We didn't have Harrison Ford in it. But that's neither here nor there because it's not the one that won. I'm all for Spider-Man and Star Wars, but that Short Round, though, there were people who liked the idea here. Here's we never needed any of the Pirates of the Caribbeans. That's from Rosie. That's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
Because that first one is so good.
I believe so. I believe that first one. I think
nominated for Oscars.
There's no denying it revolutionized pirate movies.
Yeah.
It was a dead genre. It was the pirate movie genre, subgenre, was the equivalent. It was box office poison the same way Mars was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having Mars in anything just and that's what would happen with pirate movies. But then Pirates of the Caribbean came along and it exploded. Again. To the point. Not too many people tried making other pirate stuff. I can't think of too many things. I know Black Sails was a TV show that went for a while.
I think something like Vikings is.
You think that
is an offshoot? It's sails. It's sails and swords.
There's a bit. I was actually thinking Vikings owed more to Game of Thrones and stuff.
I suppose. Interesting is that the History Channel.
I actually think it's the confluence of kind of all of those things: Pirates, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. It kind of set the stage because Vikings is Vikings anything is all of that.
Yeah, that's right. The VeggieTales Pirates, the Armand Claymation did the Pirates.
The adult film, the most expensive adult film ever.
That's right.
Pirates.
I worked at a video store at the time. I couldn't tell you how many times that thing got rented by mistake. Oh boy, it was in the main. It was in the main display. It wasn't in the back. My God.
Yeah, because it's a big deal.
Our overlord, our true overlord, David. He put a vote in for Star Wars episode 10. He said he loved our episode when we did that. So I actually told him the poll was up and he was like, what's winning? I told him, he's like, I'm going to vote for Star Wars. I want Star Wars. From Andy, Star Wars 10 guarantees 11 and 12. That's 3 for the price of 1. We got a Potter, what's wrong with y'all? Another Indiana Jones. Lily Potter. This is all the Lily Potter votes came in here. Short Round teamed up with Michelle Yeoh. That's another Lily Potter vote.
I mean, that's happening in everything.
Yes. That's right. Everything all at once. Everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah. Everything everywhere all at once.
It is the actor.
It's Michelle Yeoh, and the guy who played Short Round is in it.
One for Indiana Jones. Chad voted for Indiana Jones because he voiced elderly Indiana Jones in a well-forgotten podcast called The Unproducibles. He played Indiana Jones like this.
So he did Sean Connery?
Yes.
Or he did Indiana Jones 4.
He just didn't. Yeah, he did. He did Indiana Jones 4. I'm going to keep going with some of these comments if you don't mind before we get to the results here. Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, written by Lord and Miller and directed by Drew Goddard, but without Tom Hardy because as much as I love him, the Venom movies have a highly mediocre script and there's nothing new in Spider-Man fighting Venom in a 3rd installment of the franchise, and Sony's Venom isn't a villain anyway, so why would they fight? Whew. Fair. I didn't care about the Amazing Spider-Man movies when they came out, and I finally watched them last September. Andrew Garfield is so charming as Spider-Man, especially in No Way Home. Correct.
I have so many caveats on my opinion of what they just said.
Of which one? The Amazing Spider-Man movies?
Yeah,
being good?
I saw them when they came out, but I've also recently seen the Amazing Spider-Man movies again. And I like Andrew Garfield in everything else.
Yeah.
I don't like him in those two movies.
Those two movies have good moments.
Yes, I will grant that. I don't hate him the whole time. I just kind of hate the overall feel.
Film. Yeah, it's because Sony was trying to catch up to Marvel playing and failing.
Yeah,
like,
and
cram as much fodder in here for sequels as possible.
And No Way Home is so good, and he is so good in it. It retroactively kind of redeems and polishes those two previous movies enough to make you want them to kind of have a third go at it.
Go at it, yeah. And literally the next comment here is, it's crazy that Andrew Garfield is such a fantastic Spider-Man that despite those awful movies, he remains the Spider-Man I definitely want to see more of. Here's a vote for Indy. I'm not a huge Bradley Cooper fan, but after watching him in Nightmare Alley, I could see him as Indiana Jones in his prime. I'm much more on board for a recast of Jones than Old Man Ford.
Did we suggest that, or is that their own doing? Is that the internet doing?
I think you might have picked it when we did the actual episode. I seem to remember you suggesting.
I don't want to claim credit if I didn't do it.
Amazing Spider-Man 3 would be one of the most would be the one I want most to see. But I think Pirates of the Caribbean without the original cast, but somehow capturing the spirit of the original would be something really impressive. So there you go. There's a vote for Pirates. Capture the spirit of that first one. I did not know about this.
Based off a hint that you gave earlier, it sounds like nobody's voting for Pirates.
Yeah.
But you did say that Lily Potter came in last with 24, so Pirates got at least 25 votes.
That's right. Check this out. I had not heard this before, but I love this. There was talk of Karen Gillan starring in a new Pirates film. I like the idea of her playing Red, who is from the ride. Basically found the real life change to the scene in the ride. She starts off as auctioned as a bride, and when the pirates plunder her town, she escapes and evolves into an actual pirate taking charge of her own crew. I love that.
That's amazing.
This is from Drew Yamas. I don't know where that's from, but I love that. Like if we were going to do our Pirates episode, I would absolutely make her our main character.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt, because I don't know if you've been on the ride, but they changed the woman auction to just be a piratey auction, and Red is the one in charge of it. And she used to be the animatronic that was being sold. Mm-hmm. They just resuited her, and now she's the one leading the auction. Karen Gillan in a Pirates movie, former auctioned bride turned pirate queen, 100% sign me up for that.
And we the elephant on the ship. In this whole concept is, what do you do with Jack Sparrow? Mm-hmm. And with this, we can literally put him back where he belongs in the supporting role.
That's right.
He can be there. He can be there the whole time, but he is a supporting character, and he's wonderful as a supporting character.
If he actually does his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would absolutely watch that. Great. If that
actually not even like he would be like a good foil to everything Red's trying to do, because he's got his own agenda, which is going to work at cross purposes to hers.
Yeah, and
he's not necessarily the antagonist, but I love that idea.
If we stick with ours, where his entire fortune has been stolen and everybody's chasing after it, like it having her be,
and that's why she's changed. This is how I'm going to turn everything around. I'm going to get the One Piece.
I'm going to get the One Piece. Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. Filing that away for future use. I'm one of the maniacs who wants to see a real Pirates 4 with the legacy characters returning that's teased at the end of 5. Yeah.
That person, the way you read that, they sounded so enthused for it, and then you just dismissed it.
I'm sorry.
So nonchalantly.
I'm blowing through this. I'm sorry.
I know.
Andrew Garfield deserves much better than Tom Hardy as Venom, but I do want him back in the role.
I'm not going to begrudge people that take, because I've seen the Venom movies, and they are, as the other person said, extremely mediocre.
Yes. As I said, some of the best movies from 1997. Pre-Blade.
Pre-Blade, yeah. But what I want to know is what these people who are so against Tom Hardy as Venom, who would be a better Eddie Brock?
Tom Hardy is a fantastic actor. He would be he is doing the best he possibly can given the circumstances. Look at what Andrew Garfield got to do with a better script and director.
Yeah.
I think Tom Hardy's going to do the same thing.
I think he's, because I know, like, I've read stuff. He's apparently very heavily involved in the writing of these characters.
Tom Hardy.
So yeah.
So
he's already like, if he wasn't, they would be terrible movies.
Yeah. I'd take a third Spider-Man, but I do not like Tom Hardy's Venom at all. How much of that is his fault and the direction? I'm not sure.
What is happening?
Some more Indiana Jones love. Like
the only better Eddie Brocks I can think of, knowing what I know of about Eddie Brock's a big muscular guy for some reason. Yeah. You'd have to get a wrestler.
Nah, like I think Tom Hardy's build is perfect. If you think of the animated version,
if you don't like Tom Hardy, who else Triple could H. there be? Yeah, like that's who you'd have to go with.
Triple H.
I'm a newspaper photographer.
I take pictures and I hate Spider-Man. Let's see. Spider-Man 3.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'd love to see Star Wars. Oh my God, Stone Cold. I'd love to see Star Wars Episode 10, but 30 years seems like too much. So someone who said that's too far into the future. 30 days would be better from someone else. Okay. I don't know if that's snark or if like just pick it up a month after where the other one ended. I think it's a bad idea.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Clearly, I've been very jaded because I don't give a hoot about any of them. I do not vote. Thank you for your comments.
Was that one of 730?
No.
Did you count that as?
I did. That's one of the ones that didn't get it.
Gotcha.
It's a crime that we never got to see Guillermo del Toro's complete planned Hellboy trilogy.
It sure is.
Sorry. The Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover would be amazing.
I want to go back to that Hellboy one for a second.
Sure.
Not only do I agree, but I have my own idea for what I would do with the Hellboy franchise. I don't know if I should elaborate here. We're already way further into
this is a full-on episode now.
At this point, yeah. I got ideas for Hellboy. It should be a series, first of all. It shouldn't be a movie. It should be a show. It should be a premium channel streaming network show, a la Castle Rock or even Lovecraft Country or Game of Thrones, something like that. Game of Thrones isn't a great example to show the tone I would be going for with Hellboy, but I think that's what I think Hellboy should be.
Yeah, I'd love that. Like to get the BPRD proper, like call the show BPRD and don't make it Hellboy and the BPRD or something like that.
I mean, you could not to invoke how Watchmen was done, although the TV show Watchmen was fantastic.
Sure.
But following the comics, not necessarily beat for beat, but just even how the comics are laid out, you could actually get like 4 or 5 shows out of it. You start with Hellboy, you have that for like 5 seasons,
and then
you'd get BPRD, you'd get Hellboy and the BPRD. Like you could do a bunch. You could get Witchfinder.
There's a whole franchise to be made out of Hellboy if it could be done right. And people, I think the Guillermo del Toro ones are great. They're really, really well done. But I think people are forgetting a couple elements of those movies that are not so great. I can't remember the song that ends with it, but Liz is like, "I'm pregnant," and it freeze frames on Hellboy going, "Burp," and it's like, "Raindrops keep falling on my head." I can't remember the song, but it's like, it ends like a sitcom. It's really dumb. The Golden Army is so good up, and then it's the end. Like, "I'm pregnant." All right, some more votes here.
Okay.
None of the above. Nothing. Just do something else. Looking through this list.
Nothing. Just do something.
We have looking through this list, and I'm like, I'm good actually. Yeah. So someone wrote.
Some folks didn't understand the assignment.
So someone wrote or just put a meme of Get Out, and so then I said Oh, you're saying Get Out 2. Gotcha. Here's some title options. Get Out 2, Get Outer. To Get Out. Get In. Get Out 2, The Wrath of Khan. Obligatory To Get Out, and To Get Out 2, Electric Boogaloo. And then the response from him was, honestly, you sold me with Get Out 2, Wrath of Khan. So.
Well, I would think the sequel to Get Out would be Stay Out.
Oh, darn it. Damn it. Where were you on this? We got some, these are all garbage. There's another one. Thank you for that. Thank you for chiming in. No one's forcing you to vote here.
These are all garbage. Hey, here's 5 of some of the hottest franchises ever.
These are all garbage.
I don't like
this. God. Okay, so I can keep blowing through
Where's
these.
Garbage Pail Kids 2?
None of these sound exciting, to be honest. What I really want is Star Wars The Old Republic. It's ripe with stories, and you can get multiple Sith battles because the rule of 2 wasn't big back then. If not movies, then a series. Honestly, it's surprising and annoying how they've never made any of these. I agree. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic was a great game. Actually, I take it back. Knights of the Old Republic was cool. Do that, okay? Could do with never watching another Star Wars or Pirates again. Indiana Jones without Indiana Jones and a wider world of Harry Potter is boring AF. The Amazing Spider-Man 3 has the most potential, in my opinion. So there's a vote for Spider-Man. If I have to vote, and you do, Star Wars.
Voting is compulsory.
Because then at least having it set 30 years after The Rise of Skywalker at least possibly means it has nothing to do with Star Wars property that finally has effing nothing to do with the Rebellion or Empire or Republic. What do they want?
Did we say 30 years somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We said 30 years, yeah. The other I'm less enthusiastic about, this is like blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm not even one of those who wants a third Andrew Spidey film, but he's objectively better than any of the other options on here. So mean. Wow. I just dare Star Wars to actually detch their lips from the nuts of the Skywalker saga. I'm sorry, it's just a typo. It's probably supposed to be detach.
Yeah.
But detch sounded like a real word.
Yeah, it does.
Extended universe, my ass. All fans seem to want these days is less filler prequel shit that gives us more Uncanny Valley Luke.
It's true.
It's true. I would like to see an Andrew Garfield do more Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I do not want Tom Hardy involved. I don't wish that kind of ill will towards any Spider-Man. Come on, people, have some faith. They're not wrong. Those movies are terrible. Andrew deserves better than this. Better than to be relegated to the Sonyverse. Because I'm petty and I don't like a lot of the fan base, I'm picking Star Wars. Thank you for your Star Wars vote. And then a vote for Pirates as well. Unless someone trustworthy does Venom, Spidey team up, I'm not interested. Garfield and Hardy would fit best together, but that's because Spidey 2 was exactly as ludicrous and over the top as both Venom movies. All right. Okay.
You know what? I think Morbius is going to fit right in as well.
God. Well, those are all the comments. So thank you so much, everyone, for commenting and voting. Who am I thinking? I don't even know if any of you are listening to this, but would you like to know our grand totals now? Okay.
Yes.
So Lily Potter came in with 25 votes. Good job.
Good job.
Indiana Jones came in with 112.
Wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean came in with 137.
Where were all of those?
This was in the poll. Like wow. I didn't read the. I just
these were
comments.
Just comments.
Yeah, I was just reading the comments.
Okay.
And then coming in second place with 204 votes is Star Wars Episode 10.
All right.
Which makes our season finale episode Amazing Spider-Man 3 with 352 votes. 42.4% of the voting public have chosen, despite the fact that Tom Hardy is involved, to see Andrew Garfield in the tights one more time. And by see, I mean here. And by Andrew Garfield, I mean someone who sounds like him. Here on the Studio Demands It podcast. So yeah, it ran away with it. As soon as I put the poll up, people were Spider-Manning all over the place.
It's real hot right now.
Yeah. I'm surprised by all the votes for everything else. Not that I thought it was going to be a landslide one way or another, but there was a lot of Indiana for a moment. Star Wars and Indiana Jones were toe to toe with Spider-Man, and I thought, are we going to write an Indiana Jones movie? I almost thought it was going to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lily Potter got stomped.
Yeah.
Nobody. Seriously, if that's a sampling of what's to come, Fantastic Beasts 3.
For Fantastic Beasts 3, yeah. That franchise.
Well,
and what's real weird, but between lackluster movies and the author's bigotry on display, that's what's tanking. That's what's tanking it.
Yeah.
If like even with a successful movie, it would still have the stigma of
Rowling.
Rowling.
Yeah.
And or even if you got rid of Rowling, like people would still you would still have the distaste of her echoes. And I know people would still say stuff like, she's still making money off of it.
Yeah. Then there were a few comments that I just breezed past that had said such, like, I don't want to support this because she'll get money. But I'll say this: simple.
Does that mean that Harry Potter can't really be rebooted until she dies?
No, I don't think so. I think there is a way to pave over this, to move past this, and it has a lot to do with the good faith that the franchise does still have, because a lot of the naysayers, a lot of people against her politics and what she's having to say still do like the stories. Like I see people who are like divorced from Rowling, Slytherin house, like they
sure, and that's people trying to do so. You know what? No, I actually think that's what's likely going to happen. Like because I can name other authors who even though they've been dead decades, like there's always people bringing up like, hey, you know, Lovecraft was big old racist. Yeah, I do. And so you liking a big tentacle monster makes you a racist.
No,
or
a pervert.
No, I don't see how it makes me a pervert racist.
Orson Scott Card.
But you are.
Orson
Scott Card. Like right, like it puts a real bad taste in my mouth to be all like Ender's Game was a pivotal book for me.
Freaking L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Scientology,
sure. There's other comic, right? Warren.
I think Warren Ellis. Yeah,
is it Warren Ellis? Warren Ellis had a Me Too situation, and
it's so. Can Lily Potter come out of this? Or sorry, Lily Potter. Can the Harry Potter franchise recover? I do think it can, under the right circumstances, in the right people's hands. There is a way to revitalize this, and I know that there will always be the stigma of her voice, but I always champion death of the author. But you have to
also knowing how attached she has made
currently,
like
she's writing the screenplays.
Yeah,
she wrote the screenplay.
She will not let anyone else get their narrative voice into it. It's always going to be her. So that's the other reason that I think you're right. I think if you could get a different voice in there, maybe then that could happen. But she currently will not let that happen.
Yeah. Another thing that shocked me was the Indiana Jones love. That Indiana Jones has enough good faith that people were interested in. Now, our episode specifically, we said we would recast Indy and have the 3-part adventure with a new actor in his place. And once upon a time, Chris Pratt was right for that. I do feel like you said Bradley Cooper. Maybe there's someone out there that could do it. But the action that could be in a movie like this with someone like Short Round, with bringing Michelle Yeoh in, right? Like who is a martial arts master. Seeing her on Star Trek Discovery, she can still kick some ass, right? Like she's, and not to be so. I don't take me as rude or prejudiced to suggest just because there's Asian characters that they have to do martial arts. But I think there's something that could be injected into this adventure serial by having like Short Round.
Well, Short Round didn't do martial arts.
Yeah, he punched like Indy.
Yeah.
He beat up that little kid.
Yep. And he drove cars with blocks on the pedals.
That's right, because he was short.
Yeah.
And that Pirates of the Caribbean with Karen Gillan, And
that's such a great idea.
That what we conceptualized, I've always really enjoyed, because the nail of Karen was like our linchpin MacGuffin that got them to safety, and like give that to her. She's the main character in our Pirates.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
actually, I don't remember exactly where we paced that event happening, but I could see like she gets sold. She gets sold as to the wife of some sailor on some ship, and she's just sort of brought aboard and like thrown below deck, and so her fate is like she's not even in charge of it, and the whole ship goes down.
We'll have our honeymoon later.
Yeah, something gross and terrible like that. And then they all go to the river Styx, and like literally all of this stuff is happening to her, and she doesn't want it to happen, and she has no say in it. And then they're on the boat. She's like, no. And she not only does she pull the nail from the boat Charon, she picks her locks with that nail.
Oh yeah,
right, because of course the husband that purchased her would keep her shackled,
of course,
and so
for the honeymoon later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can totally. Oh, that'd be great. And then she stands up, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And she like hits him across the face with the shackles that she's just picked, and he falls overboard into the river Styx.
And Karen Gillan,
which you deserve,
sir. A good day. I said good day. She's kicks ass. Like Karen Gillan is very like Gunpowder Milkshake, Nebula. Like she can kick the shit out of people on camera. Like she's ripe to be just stick a saber in her hand and watch her flip around and kick some ass. Like we conceptualized main character, and we didn't really develop beyond that, and we don't typically do casting. Give her the part, man. I'm all in.
Now it's a dumb trick. I don't like usually doing like weird dumb tricks like this, but Zoe Saldana, who was
she was in the first one.
Yeah. We could bring her back, and then Karen Gillan and Zoe Saldana get to team up again,
or they could fight each other. Like, that's great. Yeah, hell yeah, Disney would do it. Come on, they're both under the umbrella. Oh, make it so. We'll write it. You guys didn't vote for it, so we're not going to write it. Maybe we'll write it eventually, but Spider-Man wins. So.
We'll write it for ourselves.
I did think Star Wars might pull this out because it got close.
I was that was sort of the that was the safe bet, I think.
Yeah, I mean it lost by 50, like less than 50, 48 points, 48 votes. So it was close, and there was a point where it had caught up equal to Spider-Man of the week I left it up.
I didn't realize it was that because the hundreds digit was different. So I thought it was further off than that. But if they were that close, I mean, did we count all the electors?
I'm sorry, you're right. It was 148 votes. Yeah, like Spider-Man had 352. Star Wars had 204. Sorry.
Fake ballots.
Recount them in Wisconsin. But there was a couple days where Star Wars was just catching up. Like Spider-Man had tapered off and Star Wars was catching up. And I thought, because I had already talked to you, I'm like, Spider-Man's running away with this. I'm making notes. I'm re-listening to the episode to get ready for it. But then Star Wars started catching up. I'm like, I might have to re-listen to Star Wars to get this one ready, which would have been a surprise because last year, it came down to one vote separating Justice League from Inception 2. It was it was one vote.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Despite knowing the results, what do you vote for? You going to pick one? Are you going to vote for one? Your vote still counts.
My vote still counts?
Yeah, it's weighted at 100 points. So like... so just bear that in mind that you could really tip the scales here.
You know what? The dark horse of the whole thing. I'm going to go with Lily Potter.
You can vote 100 towards. Okay, so
I still didn't get that. No, now I'm really jazzed by that casting of Karen Gillan.
I know, right?
That's a great angle to take on a new Pirates movie.
Yeah, these 5 we picked based on our pitches, and I was comfortable that we could do all 5 of these. And as people were voting and commenting, snark or not, it kept the gears turning where I was seeing new potential for building off of what we had already conceptualized. Yes, I know a lot of people were like, divorce is from the Skywalkers, 300 years in the past, whatever. I'm of the mind of you, which is like Mandalorian and Rogue One, which is, no, you can still tell it on this timeline. And despite Rey essentially being the herald that says, here's the mission, go bye-bye. Yeah, we don't have, like, Chewbacca's along for the ride.
That's the other thing. Like, everyone's like, get away from the Skywalkers. What do you think 7, 8, and 9 were doing?
She's still a Skywalker, Jim. She's the daughter.
I'm rolling my eyes. I'm trying to make them make sound.
Jim rolled his eyes so hard he almost fell off the chair. It was
yeah, she took the name. Whatever. She's not a Skywalker. It's fine.
It's fine. You're wrong, but it's fine. It's not fine. There's
really what I mean, spoiler for what we would do, although I guess listen to the episode and she's the new Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
right. She's the new mentor sage character. She's not because she had her main character trilogy, and so now passing the torch not to her kids. So it's not like even through name there will be like. Skywalkers is if anything, moving into the future, it's more a Jedi technique.
Yes,
this is the Skywalker style,
which we had discussed, and I think would have made more sense if that the temple she teaches under, in our scenario is she teaches they call themselves Skywalkers. They are Skywalker Jedis.
Oh God, I got chills. I love that idea. I love that idea so much. It doesn't get away from the name, but it gets away from the soap opera that was
the Kardashian level soap opera that is.
But it turns it into a different kind of legacy that I think is very cool.
And even if we did 10, she's only in the beginning. She doesn't truly become a mentor figure unless we like magically did 11 and 12. She actually isn't a pivotal character in the plot until the second movie we came up with.
Sure.
Because we conceptualized a trilogy because we couldn't help ourselves. But for the most part, it was a fetch mission for our characters. And as I was watching Mandalorian, not so much Boba Fett, but Mandalorian is plotted like a video game. Every episode is a level, and he has some quest. Like, it feels very much like video game plot.
Okay.
Where, first one is first mission, you're hired to go capture, take out this village of baddies, get into the room, kill the thing in the room. Pew, 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 get in the room. Oh, the little baby Yoda.
Yep.
All right, next mission, get this back. Oh, your ship got deconstructed. So this mission is chase the Jawas, get your shit back, rebuild your ship. Cool. Sure. Yeah, and I'm not complaining. It was something that I realized that probably an advantage of not doing hour-long episodes rather than doing 30-minute episodes was keeping those tight little missions, those fetch quests, those side quests.
Sure.
I really like The Mandalorian.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I haven't done a proper evaluation in a while. I'd probably have to rewatch some things. I think it is my favorite Star Wars thing.
Of current. Yeah. I absolutely won't fight you on that.
It's Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Rogue One. And then probably a bunch of things tied.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do here, Jim. This is what we're going to do.
Ba-booey, baba-booey, baba-booey.
No, that's not what we're going to do now. What we're going to do now is we need to record an intro that we can awkwardly put at the front of this, because this wasn't supposed to be an episode, but it turned into an episode.
Yeah.
So once we cut here, we have to do the whole, hey, welcome to Studio Demands.
Okay.
And you do that all the time, and I'll give you a funny nickname. And
okay.
we're going to but we also have to put an awkward commercial break somewhere in here too. So,
no. Okay.
So I'll find a place for that and just be like,
and commercial break. Like that?
Well, yeah, say that. It's like,
wait. And commercial break.
Wait. We're back from a commercial break. What were we just talking about? Okay, I think people will buy that if I just crowbar that. It'll seem really awkward, and people will be like, that was weird. So thank you for listening, everybody. Now you're in on the game, and hope you enjoyed this very strange episode. But thank you for your votes.
This is our most Frankenstein episode.
Yeah, we've piecemealed this together. You're gonna, I don't know, maybe people won't know.
It's an experiment.
But come back for the next episode, the finale of the season, and The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Right?
Yay!
All right. See you then, folks. Or no, listen to you then. No, you'll listen to us then. I always mess that up.
I don't know what tense we're in anymore, so hello.
Welcome to the studio.